of good storyline, plot line. I'm taking a tiny, eensy-weensy, tiny bit of inspiration from One Punch Man, but I'm also not. So, with Adrian's fight with Sarah almost finishing, it's so hard, but then they go for, with one clash, a giant shockwave is sent through the city and almost the entire country, and it's sent through outer space. In a far planet away, named Makia, a giant wolf. It's about the size of the city. Is slumbering inside of the core of the planet. It feels the shockwave and wakes up. Angered, it flies away with its magical wings. It finds to where that energy source was. It pinpoints it and then heads out. And just like runs like on the space to find it, and it realizes that it's on Earth, so he goes to hunt down whoever it was that dare awaken him from its thunder. When all of this over, Adrian would be healed by the nurse, and so would Sarah. Then they leave. Then, from Mr. Johnston, they learn a brand new lesson: absorbing. They need to use their hands to absorb its attacks. So they teach, and after a couple of weeks of learning this, they're finally mastered how to absorb attacks. Like maybe absorbing sword encounters. Maybe if someone uses maybe take Akane's for reference. Akane, go! She goes, right! And charges up a giant black dark matter blast, and her sword and goes, ah! It shoots it out of her sword. Adrian puts his hand out going, as he absorbs it, going, and he gets so much energy, stealing her energy, basically. And Shima says, good job, guys! Adrian and Akane smile, saying, But then, they get an alert from the city. Well, actually, no. Everyone feels a giant shockwave that blows them all out of the school. Adrian goes, all of them go, ah, as they're blasted out of the entire room. So we can play. I'll get on at about 4. Alright? I'll get on at about 4. So, with this, the giant wolf with wings is here. Shima says, everyone get back! This thing's huge, we have to deal with it! But we can't really, because it's kind of hard. Adrian says, no dip, Sherlock, we gotta fight it! Then he jumps up in the air as they try and find it. All kinds of pro swordsmen, all kinds of official swordsmen are trying to fight him, going, ha, ha. Okay, look, they're gonna be called heroes. All kinds of heroes trying to attack him, superheroes trying to attack him, but nothing's working. It's so big that it's so hard. They can't even touch it. Whatever they do, it just bites them. Remy, who is kind of scared of blood, seeing people die in front of her. When they get a little closer and they see the giant wolf about to bite onto someone, Alex moves behind her and puts his hands over her eyes so she doesn't see it, because they all know that she has a fear of that. And Remy goes, Alex, what the heck? He says, I know you're afraid of blood and you don't want to see it. She goes, As she just stands there as he's blocking their eyes. Adrian says, we have to do something. Shima says, don't bother. We're not strong enough together if none of the heroes can do it. He says, wait a minute. As Shima thinks to himself, the power of the sun involves in my blade. If I can deal enough damage with my blade, then all the light users will be able to fight him. Then, when it hits night, all the dark users can fight him. And then we'll go on for a constant cycle. It'll work. As Shima says, alright, all light users attack! All light users means like lightning, like the yellow stuff on, what? I'll be right back. Give me a sec, buddy. What? got something to say?
Sorry, buddy. Just some of the bad moves away. I don't feel good. My legs are hurting me.
Here's your gummies.
Once for me, once for mom. Those keeping pads, though. Thing. This is my watch there, I think.
Let's get back into this. So, all the light users attack for all day. No. Over and over and over again. And they're weakening the wolf, but it's not doing that much. Then it reaches nightfall. Back to this. So, they're fighting all night, trying to defeat it. Then in the morning, when they're waiting for backup, Adrian there's a giant slash on its wing, destroying it. He goes, ah. They're all worn out as they're blasted back with a roar. Adrian gets right in his face and slashes its eye, putting a scar up its eye. But then the wolf is about to chomp down on him. Instantly, Alex moves to the left and blinds her eyes so she can't see it. But then he realizes as he pulls out some tape from his pocket and then bites on it so it impales it. He wraps it around her face saying, "I have to go." As he jumps up and as him and Akane jump up and cut the wolf's teeth. Well, actually, Akane kicks Christian out of the way as Alex cuts the wolf. He goes, "Argh!" But then 10 more spirit animals. A cat, a super strong tiger, which is the cat, a snake comes, a giant bird, a giant pig, all kinds of giant animals are there. Adrian says, "We're screwed." Then, out of nowhere, a flashing pink and blue light hit and topped the wolf and all the animals. Akane Shima says, that can only be one thing. Sarah goes, Inara High School is here to help. As Inara High is now there to help them out. Their group for the Inter-High Nationals are there. Adrian smiles, saying, "Yeah!" as they get ready. He jumps up in the air, hitting a full-blown... They all attack all of the animals. But soon after, Inara High School is defeated by these animals. Adrian thinks to himself and looks to his hand, to the palm of his hand, going, "I'll absorb the strongest, so it has to be the wolf. That thing is so strong." He says, "Guys!" He says, "You know what to do. This is what we just learned today." They go, "Yeah!" as they all jump in the air. Adrian jumps up and puts his hand on the top of the wolf's head. He goes, as he's trying his best to absorb all of its energy. Going... But then the wolf throws it up there and smacks it with his tail, knocking Adrian back, and all the other animals are knocked back too. I mean, all the other students are knocked back. Adrian says, "Guy!" as they all shoot giant blasts out of their mouth, right at Adrian and right at a giant earth wall that was created by one of the earth users as a hero's earth power, where he slammed his sword into the ground, which created a giant earth wall. Adrian backflips and goes, as he slams his hand into the earth wall, and then he keeps his hand there, smiling, saying, "Your attacks won't get past this wall." When it happens, he goes, as all the attacks are absorbed into the ball thing and into Adrian's palm and throughout his body. He goes, "A power boost!" as he starts to glow blue. He goes, "Ah!" as a blue aura swirls around him. He goes, "Ah!" and punches the wolf right in the face, then starts to beat the crap out of all of them. Akane says, "You're not surpassing me!" As she appears, also absorbing more though, taking some of all the animals' energy, so she has the same thing as him, but hers is like a deep black. And they're like, and everyone in the thing gets all their powers going. He appeared. Then he says, "Just absorbing their energy isn't going to do anything." He says, "Guys, quick!" They all say, "Yeah!" They charge up their biggest blast, their biggest orb in their hand. But then he says, "Hold on, these guys are made out of pure energy, so if I touch it, if I use my hollowness on my sword, I can stab it right through without hurting it." As Adrian appears to the right of the wolf, and everyone else stabs their animals, going, "Ah!" Then they all yell, "Absorption!" as they absorb the entire thing. They absorb it, making it much bigger. They absorb all the animals into themselves, going, "Ah!" Adrian converts his into energy, and everyone else converts theirs into energy, so then they have like a giant massive power boost. They go, "Ah!" The giant thing is defeated. The giant wolf is defeated, and all the other animals are. With Tokyo High School getting a giant power boost and their students. Then when they go to sleep, when they head back home, all of them head back home. Yukie runs. Her name's Yukie, not Yuki. Ryuki. Her name's Yukie. Yukie rushes up with like funny anime tears, going, "I thought you were gonna die. Don't ever do that again." Adrian goes, "I'm fine, Yukie." He says, "Well, I'm gonna go to sleep now." As he passes out. As she takes him to his room and says, "Night." As she heads to the living room just to wait, because it's her time to do her job. In the morning, he hears Yukie screaming her head off in happiness. He wakes up going, "Oh, Yukie, what's wrong?" She says, "We just got a 100 million yen check. $100 million check. Actually, no. $500 million check." Adrian says, "Huh? How'd we get that?" He says, "Shouldn't you be more excited?" Adrian says, "I'm not excited. Just tell me what we got it for." It says, "Well, since Adrian was part of the rescue mission of the entire city, and almost the entire country, every student will be divided their money. So now we don't have to live in an apartment." Agent Smiles going, yeah, let's go buy a house. Since it is spring break, since it is break, we have 1 week off. They all go, yeah, and they buy a luxury house. They don't hire a butler because like that's messed up. You don't do that. But then they also get another note from the school. They say, for the safety of the students and for the safety of the entire city, from the principal, of course, says, all students will be moved. All members of Class A, the club, the Inter-High, the Tokyo High team, will be sent to a dorm. But these dorms will be luxury. Will be luxury since how much money? The students just have to donate about $1 million. Since everyone was given $500 million, they should have at least $1 million to spare. So they all do, and they build the hotel in a month. And it's like a luxury hotel with tons of things. There's a spa there, there's a pool, everything is a roller coaster. And it's amazing. And that's basically